a lot of too, but honestly, there could be the way where you put Crawford over.
You know, he coming behind his jab, he throwing straight punches, he going to the body, going in up and down. He just got to tighten up a little bit on his defense, but other than that.
In boxing, debates about the pound-for-pound number one never stop, but now one of the sport's most dangerous fighters has stepped in with a strong opinion. David the Mexican monster Benavidez has finally spoken about Terence "Bud" Crawford, and instead of calling him out, he gave him respect. When Crawford defeated Canelo Alvarez, it wasn't just a normal win, it changed how people see boxing. He didn't just beat the undisputed champion at 168 pounds, he showed that even a fighter seen as unbeatable has limits. Moving up 2 weight classes, Crawford faced a legend and made him look like any other opponent. That performance didn't just send a message, it changed the standard of greatness in the sport.
The Mount Rushmore of
Hell
boxers?
Yeah. Yes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah?
3-time undisputed. He just beat Canelo.
Yeah.
The face of boxing. So now you can say Bud is the face of boxing.
Greatest of all time, or?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it can never be one great,
Yeah.
but he definitely one of the greatest of all.
As an undefeated multi-time world champion, David Benavidez understands what it takes to dominate at the highest level, and his words about Terence Crawford were more than simple respect, they carried real weight across the boxing world. In a sport driven by ego, rivalry, and constant call-outs, Benavidez, who openly believes he's the best today, did something rare. He didn't just praise Crawford's performance, he put him on another level entirely. With full confidence, Benavidez placed Bud on boxing's Mount Rushmore, calling him one of the greatest of all time. In his view, Crawford didn't just create history, he reached a level most fighters can only dream of, securing his place among the legends who shaped the sport.
Because, you know, he did something that I didn't think he was going to do. You know what I mean? He went and he beat Canelo. You know, that's 3 weight classes going up. You know what I mean? And he made it look pretty easy. So,
when praise like that comes from a top rival, it doesn't just grab attention, it makes everyone pause. Benavidez saw up close what Crawford achieved, moving up in weight and collecting every major title, and he gave him full credit for it. But what stood out most wasn't Crawford's speed, footwork, or ability to switch stances. Instead, Benavidez pointed to something that can't be taught, his heart. He was impressed by Crawford's courage and mindset, especially in the later rounds when he was already ahead, yet still chose to stand and trade with a bigger, stronger puncher like Canelo. That moment didn't just show skill, it proved his fearless attitude and unmatched determination.
Crawford's ability to stay focused in the fight, and not only just to stay focused in box, but he also got rugged in there. You know what I mean? He started balling with him towards the late rounds. You know what I mean? That's something I appreciate in a fighter. You know what I mean? He was already up. He could have chose to just box, but he went in there and he tried to brawl with him in the last round. So that's really what impressed me. His heart more than.
Crawford didn't enter the ring just to get the win. He came to take full control. He fights with a relentless mindset and a sharp instinct that pushes him beyond just winning. Every punch he throws, every move he makes, and every round he fights shows a man who refuses to slow down or play it safe. He aims to be clear, dominant, and unforgettable every time he steps in the ring.
I think it's more important for Crawford than anybody, you know, but I think if anybody could beat Canelo, I think Crawford could.
Yeah, I know you said like he could be the guy. What kind of a chance do you ultimately give him?
I think you give him like a 7 out of a 10.
Oh wow, that high! I thought you were going to say like 25.
I mean, no, Crawford is good. Crawford is good, and
of course.
I think he's been known that he's going to fight Canelo for a long time. And you know, Crawford he likes to pick up the weight, so I'm sure he's been working on the weights for a long time. So, you know, Crawford, when he has with a person that has big IQ like that, if you do enough weights, you know, and you stay working for a long time, you know, you have a.
In Benavidez's view, that's Crawford's real advantage, the factor that makes him so hard to beat. It's not only his high-level skills, but the intense mindset behind everything he does. That same fearless approach, Benavidez believes, is something Canelo Alvarez no longer has, and that's what truly sets a great champion apart from everyone else.
Too, but honestly, there could be the way where you put Crawford over Mayweather. Because of going up, you didn't see Mayweather go up from 147 to 168. That's crazy, bro. And honestly, I thought Crawford was gonna have more of a hard time because he had a hard time with Madronov. So imagine going up to it. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, but I don't want to take nothing away from Mayweather. Mayweather's the greatest of all time. But I think that was a really big risk that Crawford took, and then he ended up winning. You know what I mean? So you have to give credit to that too. I mean, that's a big risk. That'd be like me going up and fighting Usyk right now, heavyweight.
I know that's been kind of hinted.
I'm not thinking of that right now. I'm not thinking of that right now. No, but that's kind of like how that'd be. You know what I mean? So you have to, bro. That's that's a lot of he has a lot of balls to do that, and not only to go do that to show the world that he's really like that.
The praise for Crawford came with a clear message, as Benavidez used it to take a direct shot at Canelo Alvarez. After calling Crawford an all-time great, he turned his attention to Canelo and gave a harsh criticism. Benavidez pointed out what he believes was Canelo's biggest weakness, not his skills or power, but his uncontrollable ego. He said this wasn't just a loss, it was a lesson in humility. According to him, Canelo didn't take the fight seriously, barely throwing punches and walking forward like the win was guaranteed. Benavidez explained that Canelo was so confident in himself that he believed he could simply walk through Crawford, land one big shot, and finish the fight, but that mindset ended up costing him badly.
I kind of felt like that could have been me. That was my moment. You know what I mean? If I would have got in there, I know I would have beat him. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be a hater, but that's kind of how I feel. But you know what I mean? I give all the flowers to Crawford. You know what I mean?
That should have been me in there. That should have been my.
If I would have got that fight, I would have been me. I would have been the one getting my hand raised. But like I said, it didn't happen, and that's why it didn't happen, because Canelo knows.
Benavidez made it clear that in boxing, that kind of arrogance can destroy a fighter. He ended his statement with a strong warning that every boxer should remember. He explained that the same ego that helped Canelo rise to the top and become a superstar is the very thing that brought him down in the end.
Crawford took it way more serious than Canelo, which is kind of weird because, you know, the amount of money that Canelo was making. And I know all these people say, oh, yeah, you know, talking shit about Canelo. I'm not talking shit about him. He just didn't look like he really prepared 100%. He's throwing 10 punches around, or I think it was his ego is that big that he thought that, oh, I'm just going to walk through him, catch him with a good shot, and it's going to be done. As you can see, Crawford is a different type of fighter. Not only has he had the boxing IQ, he has that dog in him. He was in there, he was brawling with Canelo like in the 8th, 9th, getting the best out of him. Boxing, he's epitome of a great boxer. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in that fight, you know what I mean? If you really want to make something come true and you really believe it, you can make it come true. And then the other lesson is, don't let your ego get the best out of you. Don't think that you don't have to prepare because you're a bigger fighter, you know what I mean?
After Canelo was dethroned, all eyes in boxing quickly shifted to what seemed like the perfect super fight, Terence Crawford against David the Mexican Monster Benavidez. It felt like a natural moment, the new king facing the uncrowned one, a clash that could define the 168-pound division. The excitement built fast, and fans everywhere wanted it. But when Benavidez was asked about it, his answer surprised everyone. He didn't just turn it down, he completely shut it down. He made it clear he has no interest in fighting Crawford, and his reason was just as strong as his response. Benavidez stated that he's done with 168, saying he has moved on from the super middleweight division and wouldn't even come back down for a big money fight with Canelo, making it clear that a showdown with Crawford isn't happening.
Is that a possibility?
Honestly, bro, my plan is after this fight, I want to go down to 154. Nah, bro, I'm done with cruiserweight. You know, I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I say cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity to, you know, congratulate Crawford. You know, he put a hell of a performance. He's up there in the Mount Rushmore of the greatest fighters of all time. And, you know, let Crawford do his thing, bro. You know, at the end of the day, I have no interest in fighting Crawford. I have no interest in going down to 168. I mean, yeah, it's nice that it would be dope winning all titles, but I'm way past that at 168. You know, the only reason I wouldn't even go down to 168 for Canelo, and I'm just being real with you, you know. And let Crawford do his thing. Let him have his, let him. I want to give his flowers, man, because he's a great fighter, man. When there's no other fighter that's coming up from 147 to beat a type of fighter like Canelo at 168, you know, and Crawford, you know, he's one of the greatest of all time. So, you know, I have no interest in going down to 168. I'm not saying that I'm scared of Crawford or whatever, you know, but Crawford's a man at 168. That's it.
In a cold and almost dismissive comment, Benavidez shut down what many saw as boxing's biggest possible matchup. He simply said, "Let Terence Crawford live. That's his weight class." With that one line, he made it clear he had no interest in that fight, stepped away from the division, and ignored the growing demand from fans. In doing so, he closed the door on the dream matchup and left Crawford firmly standing as the undisputed name at the top of his division.
I still got it at 50-50. Benavidez good, but Canelo is, you know what I mean, great. we just gotta see the fight, man. We all want to see the fight.
Do you think he gets him to the body? Because Booba was landing a lot of body shots.
I don't know. That's why I said we gotta watch the fight. You know what I mean? It's a different style, different type of fighter. You got two strong fighters going head to head.
Is Canelo the only 68U fighter? Would you consider a Benavidez?
Yeah, Canelo.
Benavidez's decision starts to make more sense when you look beyond the surface. Why would a fighter walk away from a division full of big names and huge paydays just when he's at the front of the line? That's the question fans are asking. But there's also a deeper story behind his time at 168 pounds. His run in that division has been complicated and controversial. He's the only two-time champion to lose his titles twice without being beaten in the ring. One time, he was stripped after testing positive for cocaine, and another time he lost the belt for missing weight on the scale. Those moments made 168 a difficult and costly chapter in his career. The weight cut itself has clearly taken a toll, and now he's choosing a fresh start. Benavidez is moving up to 175 pounds, aiming for bigger challenges and new goals. His focus is shifting toward elite light heavyweights like Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol, and even possible clashes with Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. For him, the mission has changed. He's chasing greatness in a new division and leaving the past behind.
We've been in talks fighting Zurdo Ramirez for his belts at cruiserweight, so we're already in talks of that, you know. And then that's definitely a fight that has to happen because I used to spar him when I was 18 years old. All the way, you know, I sparred him a lot, so I know that's a pay-per-view fight. So it was a pay-per-view sparring session, so the fight is going to be, you know, way better. But yeah, definitely, that's in my sights. You know, I definitely want to go up to cruiserweight. You know, I want to be a reigning defending champion at light heavyweight and then make my way up.
He's now leaving the 168-pound division to Crawford, a fighter he clearly respects but has no plans to share the ring with.
That's cheating.
I love it.
That is cheating.
That's a heel turn. You the boss.
That
I love
is
it.
heel.
That's a heel turn.
I love it. You do that far,
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Wow.
Roy at his peak. Just remember this. If Roy would have retired after the Ruiz fight, he would have replaced Sugar Ray Robinson as the greatest fighter of all time.
I agree.
Right? But he didn't, and the rest of that stuff is in there, right? So I get it. But Roy at his peak, I think, had a higher peak than anyone on this list.
I agree.
Okay, Manny Pacquiao, we've all said it a million times. I think he is, outside of Sugar Ray Robinson, I have Manny Pacquiao's second greatest pound-for-pound fighter ever. Floyd Mayweather never lost. And did he cherry-pick when and where? Yes. But guys, from 130, 135, he cleaned out 135. He beat the best guy at 130, beat the best guy at 135. Yes, did he pick and choose at 140, 47, and 54? Yeah, but he won all those fights.
That's right.
And he beat a lot of good fighters. And more than that, put Floyd at his best in with anyone through history.
It leaves the entire boxing world with one big question to think about. Did Canelo's ego not only cost him his titles, but also take away the super fight fans were hoping for, or is David Benavidez actually avoiding the one fighter he himself called an all-time great? That's it for today's breakdown. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned. We'll see you next time.